I heard some red pill person asking this question recently. I'm wondering what your answer is. Would you rather get oral from the most attractive trans woman you've ever seen in your life?
Okay.
Who is a biological male?
Sure.
Or
does that person have STDs?
No.
Good. Okay.
They've passed the test.
Okay.
Or would you rather get head from Gorgoth the Destroyer? Or no, she's trans. So, okay, like just the most unpleasant.
That was the worst hypothetical ever. Would you rather get head from the hottest person in this group or the verified ugliest?
Okay. Picture like a 600-pound cis woman.
Sure.
The most repulsive thing you've ever seen versus, I'm not going to lie, I've seen some trans people with a cracking BBL, boob job, all the face, hormones pumping through their body. It's not looking too bad at all. For me, I think I'm going with the trans one.
I am going to go at least sober. I can only speak for sober, Danny, right now. I am going to have to go with overweight cis woman.
You really think?
Because if you get blown by a trans woman, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I, a man who's never done that before, I have to start having conversations with myself. Like, boy, buddy, well, you've done it. You've gotten your dick sucked by somebody who was formerly a man. Well, you're just that kind of guy now. Whereas it's sort of like if I started doing acid for the first time. Like, I am now a guy who has done acid and I have to face that new reality. I have a busy schedule. I'm not prepared to face any new realities. So I'm going to stick to my comfort zone and just get blown by an obese woman.
Gorgoth.
Gorgoth.
No, that's not Gorgoth. You're right.
You're having a really hard time. Gorgoth, I mean, that's a compliment.
I'm so attracted to trans people that it's like kind of hard for me to remember who's who.
Sure.
I don't know. To me, it's like at a certain point when you're talking about, okay, the woman, the cis woman, is in a wheelchair, 600 pounds. One of her legs has been cut off at the knee, and there's been no attempt made by the doctor to suture it or to do anything to it.
Is it festering, Adam?
The wound is festering.
Okay.
There are flies around the body
of
maggots? This cis woman. There are no, because maggots. I'm trying to like avoid a scenario in which you could think that you might actually get the diseases that this person has.
Okay.
But like I'm just trying to make it like as gross as possible.
Okay, so it smells like death.
It smells like the line outside the soup kitchen, or what I would imagine. That's like. I remember volunteering at the soup kitchen when I was like 15, and it smelled like really, really, really bad.
But you can guarantee me that I'm not going to contract any disease while receiving this blowjob.
I can guarantee you that.
I would still take it from the... Do I have to come? Because if at some point I have to come, I might be physically unable to if I can smell rotted flesh.
I don't think you necessarily have to come. I just think you have to bash your pelvis into this person's mouth for like a half hour.
Okay, so
if you don't come, that's on you.
A half hour?
Yeah.
I thought this was a blowjob. Not a marathon face fucking.
No, you got to say hard or at least have your dick making contact with the cis person for a half hour.
So I have to, whichever comes first, a half hour or my climax. That's how this is set up.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Imagine just dragging your limp dick across this person's lips.
I mean, so now what we're talking about is if video emerges of me just jackhammering a one-legged, wheelchaired, obese woman's face, I might get canceled for that. Whereas on the flip side, the opposite of cancellation is what's going to happen is if I get blown by a trans girl.
Right. You might be accepted into some social groups that you're not currently, well, but you're going to have to really control the jokes that you make about it.
I think if you like hook up with trans people, you kind of got licensed to, like, for instance, we had on the Leo and Danny Show podcast a trans girl who's been coming on our pod. She came out to the comedy club and sat front row at our show, and it was just like a godsend to us.
Because you just made jokes about it the whole time?
Yeah, we just like making fucking trans jokes constantly.
And she was rocking with it?
Loved it. Really? Loved it. And it was like, dude, it was easy mode for all the comedians that night to have a trans chick just front row.
You can't just go into a comedy club and expect to be left alone in any sense, right? right?
No, not at all. And dude, comedy clubs are fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
Like so gnarly. Especially if a comedian of color gets up there, like a black dude or a Mexican dude, they can say whatever the fuck they want right now. Like gay jokes, trans jokes, racist jokes. Like even white comedians can go pretty hard on stage. It's just sort of accepted. But dude, if you are like a protected minority, you can say anything now.
Really?
Which is pretty dope. It's fun.
That is dope. I have a really strong memory of going to see Andrew Schultz doing comedy in a club in probably 2017 in New York City. We were just like hanging out with him and went to his comedy show. And he made a bunch of like really offensive, like trans or gay or whatever jokes. And I remember like looking around during certain jokes and seeing people absolutely just stone faced, just staring at him like this is not funny in any way. This has been a clip from my new podcast, Sledge Lords with Danny Mullen. We're dropping a new episode every week, so either hit the link in the description or search up the Adam 22 channel on YouTube. Appreciate you guys.